Have you ever felt a small, cold panic the moment someone says no? A casual rejection, a message left unread, an invitation declined, a job you didn't get. And suddenly your chest tightens, your thoughts race, and you begin rehearsing every possible failure story. Rejection can feel like a verdict on your worth, as if one closed door proves you are unlovable or unworthy. Viktor Frankl lived amid extremes, and his surprising teaching is that meaning, a stance you can choose, changes how rejection lands. This video isn't about platitudes, it's about practical mindset shifts you can use the moment anxiety flickers, so rejection stops reshaping your identity. The first shift is inside-out noticing. Most of us meet rejection with a flood of meanings we invent in 5 seconds. I'm not good enough. They don't value me. This proves I'll always be alone. Frankl's insight is simple and brutal. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and meaning lives in that space. Start by slowing down the instant after the no. Don't try to stop the feeling. Instead, ask one precise question. What story am I about to tell myself about this? Name the story in one sentence. Naming breaks the automatic loop. It turns the storm into data, an interior narrative you can interrogate rather than a fact you must absorb. The second shift is reframing rejection as information, not identity. Rejection gives you portable data about a particular choice, context, or timing, not about your total value. Frankl wrote that those who have a why can bear almost any how. If you ground yourself in a why, a value, a task, a person you serve, then a no becomes one data point on the path, not the signpost that ends the road. In practice, develop a short why line you can say when anxiety rises. My why is X. This outcome doesn't change that. Repeat it quietly. The phrase is not denial, it is orientation. Third, practice the tiny behavioral repair. Rejection anxiety often spurs one of two reactive moves, either frantic proving, oversending, overexplaining, or avoidance, shutting down, canceling invitations. Both strengthen the anxiety's pattern. Instead, choose a small, concrete action that honors agency without escalation. If a job application fails, the action might be, I will edit one line of my CV tonight. If a friend declines, the action could be, I'll send one brief note, I understand, take care. These micro actions shift the nervous system from rumination to use. They produce small but cumulative evidence that you can respond rather than collapse. Now, a practical micro routine to use the moment rejection lands. Breathe, 4 counts in, 6 counts out. Name the immediate story, one sentence. Speak your why line quietly. Then pick and do one microaction within the next hour. Time boxing a behavioral step prevents the mind from converting the event into an identity drama. Frankl's work was never about magical positivity. It was about choosing a stance that serves endurance. Rehearse this routine twice a day until it becomes accessible under stress. Expect resistance. The anxiety voice is persuasive because it is old and fast. It learned a survival story in moments when approval mattered for safety. When you begin to change the pattern, you'll meet two predictable reactions. First, the immediate spike of guilt for not collapsing into the drama. The mind protests, you shouldn't just move on. Second, social noise. People in your circle who think you're calm equals indifference and may push to keep the old rhythm. Answer the inner protest with curiosity. Why do I think I must suffer publicly to prove this mattered? Answer the social noise with a short, consistent line. I'm processing this. I'll share when I can. Consistency is the scaffolding of new meaning. Another Frankl shift is the deferred meaning posture. When rejection burns, you don't always have to find an immediate grand meaning. Instead, practice deferring the existential questions. I don't know yet what this means, and that's okay. I will look for one useful next step. This reduces pressure to produce a transformation on demand. It recognizes that meaning is often discovered in the aftermath of choices, not immediately at the point of pain. The deferred posture calms the ego's demand for immediate truth and invites patient curiosity. A crucial social skill: manage showing and asking. Rejection sometimes calls for honest expression. Sometimes you need containment. Practice two short phrases, one to show, one to ask. To show, I'm disappointed by that result. I'm taking time to process. To ask, can I share how this hit me and ask for a bit of support? The show line communicates authenticity without drama. The ask line clarifies your need. Frankl emphasized responsibility, including to others. Asking for support is not weakness if it's specific and bounded. A practical mental experiment Frankl suggested indirectly through his work. Imagine you are advising a friend who just faced the same rejection. What words would you offer? Often we are kinder and more strategic for others than for ourselves. The friend test gives you a mirror. Treat yourself with the same steady counsel. Write the advice as one sentence and keep it in your phone. When anxiety spikes, read it aloud. It shifts the internal tone from self-attack to allyship. Finally, for this part, use a short meaning scaffold question every evening for 1 week. Today, where did I find even a small reason to continue? It can be as tiny as a pleasant conversation, a finished email, or a walk. This nightly practice trains attention towards sustainers, not only slights. Frankl's survivors did not live by grand revelations every day. They lived by noticing small reasons to go on. Build that habit and rejection's narrative loses its exclusive hold. In the next part, we'll translate Frankl's philosophy into 3 concrete mindset exercises you can practice daily. A witnessing exercise to clear the identity fog, a why-building exercise to anchor your values, and a social script rehearsal so your responses are clear and calm. We'll also cover how to stop over-apologizing and begging for validation, old patterns that feed rejection anxiety. Are you ready to change the way rejection feels in your body and in your life? Now we move from idea to muscle. 3 concrete mindset exercises you can do each day to weaken rejection anxiety and strengthen meaning. These are short, repeatable, and built so you can use them in the moment when a no arrives. Each one trains a different faculty: clarity, orientation, and social poise. Practice them like drills. Meaning is a habit. Habits are built by repeated, small, intentional acts. Exercise 1. The witness sentence. The moment the sting of rejection appears, stop and give it one clean sentence of language. Not an essay, not a justification, one sentence. Examples: that rejection stung and I feel small. Or, they said no, I feel dismissed and anxious. Speak it quietly or write it down. The purpose is threefold: to externalize the emotional temperature, to remove the thought from immersive rumination, and to convert subjective flood into an object you can work with. Frankl's method is essentially this: make the unconscious conscious. The witness sentence is a portable way to do that in real time. Practice the witness sentence twice daily for a week, even when nothing dramatic happens. Set a timer mid-morning and mid-afternoon and simply observe one annoyance and give it a one-line witness. This trains the noticing muscle so that when real rejection arrives, you don't get swallowed by story. Over time, the rawness reduces because you repeatedly convert overwhelming feeling into describable fact. Exercise 2. The why line builder. Frankl's core insight that a robust why dissolves the tyranny of temporary hows becomes practical when you craft a compact why line you can call to mind under stress. The exercise has 3 steps. 1. Write down 3 things you care about that are bigger than immediate outcomes: teaching, creating, care for a family member, a craft. 2. Distill them into one short phrase: I am here to help people think more clearly. Or, my work is to build steady value over time. 3. Anchor the phrase near you, on a note, in your phone, as a wallpaper. When rejection hits, read the why line aloud once. It won't remove discomfort, but it relocates meaning from the accidental event to your enduring orientation. Use the why-line builder each morning for the first month. Say your why-line before checking email, before swiping social media, and before important interactions. The repeated invocation creates an internal compass. When you habitually orient to a why, rejections lose their capacity to define you, because your worth is not on a scoreboard of external approvals. Exercise 3. The social script rehearsal. Rejection often triggers frantic repair, over-explaining, begging for feedback, or apologizing in ways that undermine your dignity. Prepare short, dignified scripts for the likely social responses you might need. Keep them to 1 or 2 sentences. Examples: "Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate the update and I'll follow up later." Or, "I'm disappointed by this result. I'll review and get back with one concrete improvement." The goal here is twofold: to avoid unnecessary emotional escalation and to convert loss into a forward step. Rehearse these lines aloud for 5 minutes every evening for a week. In the rehearsal, vary your tone: steady, calm, and even kind. The body stores cadence. When you must use the line for real, your physiology will have a ready, steady pathway to follow. Practice scripts prevent the panic speak that feeds rejection anxiety, and they also communicate competence to others, which paradoxically reduces the chances of future rejections that stem from perceived neediness. Combine the 3 exercises into a micro-routine you use when a no lands. Step 1. Witness sentence. Step 2. Read your why line. Step 3. Pick and say your social script. Then choose one micro-action, 10 minutes of focused work, one brief note to someone, an added small task to redirect energy into agency. This sequence is small enough to be done in 10 minutes and strong enough to change the felt story. Expect friction. Old neurons love the drama because drama once produced help or attention. When you choose the witness sentence and the why line instead, the nervous system will complain. It might create guilt or a feeling you're being cold or dismissive. Answer the complaint with a short curiosity line. "I notice a part of me expects a public proof of this pain. I hear it, I'll care for it privately." That gentle internal reply integrates compassion and discipline, the 2 things Frankl survivors embodied. Now, some practical lab tasks you can run this week to test the exercises. Task A. Intentional denial of spectacle. The next time you get a small rejection, a message unread, an RSVP declined, do not post about it. Do not tell everyone. Instead, do the 3-step micro-routine and record one line about the result. Task B. Micro-rejection exposure. Once this week, intentionally put one small thing at risk. Submit a short piece, ask for a coffee meeting, or send a brief idea to a contact. Expect a range of outcomes. Practice the routine regardless. Exposure trains tolerance and breaks the avoidance patterns that feed anxiety. Task C. Friend test. When a friend experiences a rejection, practice offering one sentence of helpful counsel, the friend test, and notice how easily you can be kinder to others than to yourself. Use that mirror to inform your self-talk. A core part of resilience is calibrating the social environment. Rejection anxiety thrives where feedback is ambiguous and support is inconsistent. Do a relational inventory. Who in your circle consistently validates and helps you iterate? Who tends to amplify insecurity? Consider pruning conversational patterns that encourage spectacle around small setbacks. Instead, cultivate 2 kinds of people: one who can offer honest feedback anchored in truth, and one who can hold you steady without needing your drama. You don't need to make dramatic cuts, you simply choose where to practice vulnerability and where to practice repair. Finally, remember Frankl's patient realism. The aim is not to become impervious to rejection. That's impossible and undesirable. The aim is to shift the balance so rejection no longer rewrites your identity. Use the exercises daily for a month and treat the results as data. Are you less reactive? Are you choosing one micro-action more often? Does your inner narrative feel less catastrophic? Track those signals in a single-line journal. Date, trigger, exercise used, one-word result. Over time, the single-word results will accumulate into evidence. Evidence changes belief. Belief changes behavior. In the next part, we'll deepen the work. We'll practice the micro-actions for different rejection contexts: romantic, professional, social. Give precise scripts for each and offer a 30-day plan to turn these exercises into durable habit. We'll also close with a public pledge you can use in the comments to strengthen commitment. Are you ready to make rejection an event instead of an identity? Now we move into the gritty middle, the part where practice meets pressure. Ideas are easy when things are calm. Meaning is tested when a new no arrives or when old patterns resurface. This section is about the 3 higher-order skills that turn momentary routines into durable resilience: exposure with curiosity, calibrated vulnerability, and structural rehearsal. These are not abstract. They are concrete practices you can run in everyday life so that rejection becomes information you use, not a verdict that erases you. Start with small exposure. Anxiety protects by avoiding risk. Paradoxically, the way out is to risk small and often. Choose one tiny situation this week where you will intentionally subject yourself to possible rejection. A one-line pitch, a short ask, a low-stakes idea sent to a colleague. The point is not to court failure, it's to learn that the bodily panic shrinks when you repeatedly survive it. After each exposure, do 3 quick moves. Note the immediate physical sensation, 1 sentence. Apply the witness sentence from part 2, and do 1 micro-action that moves you forward. These 3 moves create a tidy loop: expose, witness, act. Exposure trains tolerance, the loop converts tolerance into competence. Pair exposure with curiosity. When rejection arrives after an ask, avoid the instant narrative that says it proves the worst about you. Instead, run a short 5-question postmortem. What happened factually? What can I learn? What was in my control? What was not? What single small next step could I take? This turns emotional reactivity into investigative work. Frankl survivors did not pretend the world was fair. They learned to inspect facts and choose a next step. Curiosity is what converts humiliation into a resource for the next move. Calibrated vulnerability is the second skill. There is a difference between public spectacle and honest asking. When we feel rejected, some of us implode, others explode. A few perform wounded martyrdom to win sympathy. Calibrated vulnerability is the middle path: honest, bounded, purposeful. Practice a short template you can use with people you trust. I want to be honest for a moment. That decline hit me harder than I expected. I'm not asking you to fix it, I just wanted you to know how it landed. That line signals authenticity without demanding rescue. It invites support but leaves agency intact. Use it with people who have shown they can hold you, not as a crisis signal to everyone. Now apply social scripts to contexts you actually face. For job rejection: thank you for the update. I appreciate the opportunity. Could you share one brief piece of feedback I could use? This turns closure into a learning moment and communicates professionalism. For romantic or social rejection: I'm disappointed, but I respect your decision. I'd like to understand if you can share a little. Otherwise, I'll accept this and take care of myself. For creative rejection, publishers, editors: thanks for considering my work. Could you point to one strength and one place to improve? Short, focused asks shift the frame from personal verdict to information gathering. When you rehearse them, they become the default instead of panic speech. Practice the 2-step repair for public slips. If you react badly to a rejection and then regret it, follow this sequence. 1. Immediate short ownership. 1-line apology that names impact. I reacted poorly and I'm sorry. And 2. Commit to a concrete repair. I'll follow up with a clearer message tomorrow. Quick, factual repair dissolves shame faster than long explanations. The repair doesn't erase the slip, but it prevents a single moment from becoming an identity story. Bring structure to relationships. Some rejection anxiety flares because social feedback is inconsistent or ambiguous. Create clarity with simple agreements. Ask a mentor for a feedback window. Can we set 15 minutes next week to review this? Ask a friend for a bounded listening check. Can you listen for 5 minutes and then ask one question? Or ask a partner for a rule about response times. If I'm anxious, could you text "saw it" so I don't imagine the worst? These small negotiated forms of predictability reduce the free-floating meaning-making that fuels anxiety. Frankl's point was practical. Create meaning structures that support endurance. Use role play as muscle training. Meet a friend for 10 minutes to simulate a rejection scenario. One plays the gatekeeper who says no, the other practices the witness sentence, the why line, and the social script. Switch roles. Debrief with one line about what felt different. Role play compresses stress into training so your nervous system learns new options. 2 5-minute drills a week produce more change than one long therapy-style session. Work with memory reframing. Rejection anxiety often leans on a chain of remembered slights that amplify present events. Create a small corrective memory bank, a place where you list recent small wins, moments you acted courageously, times someone affirmed you. When a no arrives, read 3 items from that bank before interpreting the event. The memory bank is evidence that your worth is distributed across time, not concentrated in a single outcome. Frankl survivors gathered small facts that sustain them. You can do the same with wins both big and small. Handle repeated rejections with a scaling plan. Some goals require many no's before a yes: publishing, entrepreneurship, creative work. Make a cadence. After X rejections, you will adjust strategy. After Y rejections, you'll seek external feedback. After Z rejections, you'll consider a pivot. Define X, Y, Z for your context. The cadence reduces existentializing each no and gives structure to iteration. You are no longer at the mercy of chance. You are following a plan that includes review and adaptation. Guard against the 2 toxic traps: numbing and over-explanation. Numbing, withdrawal, binging, dissociation, gives temporary relief but strengthens avoidance. Over-explanation, frantic proving, signals neediness and often invites more rejection. When you notice those moves, revert to the 3-step micro-routine: witness, why-line, micro-action. It's simple but effective at redirecting the nervous system from collapse or spectacle into steady agency. Finally, build a resilience anchor practice for nights after a tough day. Spend 5 minutes before bed on 3 things. Name one hard fact from the day. Name one meaning-centered why that outlasts the fact. And name one small action you will do tomorrow. This triad closes the day with continuity rather than catastrophe. Over weeks, the nighttime anchor smooths the emotional volatility rejection creates and builds a narrative of continuity. Frankl wrote that meaning often lives in the future tense, in the next courageous small act, and this nightly practice primes your mind to find that next act before sleep. If this content is making sense to you, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. We'll finish in the last part with a compact 30-day plan that weaves exposures, rehearsals, and social contracts into a single schedule you can use immediately. I'll give you exact scripts for romantic, professional, and creative rejections and a short checklist for day-to-day maintenance. We'll close with a public pledge to strengthen commitment. Are you ready to turn rejection from identity into input? If this video confronted you, made you think, touched a part of you that you usually avoid, then comment here. I choose to keep going. Now we close with a practical 30-day blueprint that turns the ideas and drills into a lived program. This plan is not about perfection or grand transformation overnight. It's about building small scaffolds so rejection becomes information you use, not identity you inherit. The 30 days are organized around 3 simple threads you've already learned: notice, orient, and act micro-actions. Each week ramps exposure, rehearsal, and social design, so you leave the month with new neural habits and clearer social scripts. Week 1, establish the core. Daily, 3 to 10 minutes. Morning witness. Before phone or messages, write one witness sentence about any low-grade sting you feel. That decline stung. I feel small. Read your why line out loud once. Choose one micro action for the day. 10 minutes of focused work, a short note, a small ask. Midday, when a trigger appears, run the micro routine. Breathe, witness, why line, micro action. Evening, one-line log. Date, trigger, exercise used, one-word result. The point is repetition, not intensity. Keep the ritual tiny so you never skip it. Week 2, add exposure and scripts. Daily, keep the morning witness and why line. Add a 5-minute rehearsal of social scripts in the evening. Read 2 scripts aloud, job, social, or romantic, with steady, calm tone. Twice this week, do one small exposure. Send an ask, pitch, or public idea. After exposure, do the post-mortem. What happened, what you learned, one next step. Rehearse the 2-step repair if you stumble. One-line apology naming impact plus one concrete follow-up action. Week 3, social contracts and partner drills. Daily, ritual remains. Weekly, schedule one partner drill, 5 minutes, with a trusted friend who will play the gatekeeper for a brief ask. Practice witness, why line, plus social script. Also this week, negotiate one small clarity with someone in your circle, mentor, partner, or peer. If I'm anxious after a message, can you say, "saw it," so I don't project meaning? These negotiated micro rules reduce ambiguous feedback that fuels anxiety. Keep a mirror map update. List top 3 relationships, typical triggers, and your micro responses. Week 4, scale, integrate, and iterate. Daily, maintain the basic ritual. Weekly, run a 30-minute integration session, review logs, update the mirror map, pick one pattern to tweak for the next month. Do 2 exposures this week that are slightly larger than before, then run the full post-mortem and choose one structural change, adjust cadence, change audience, seek feedback. End the week by drafting a single public or private pledge, one sentence you'll commit to for the next 90 days. The pledge is a social anchor. Say it to one person or write it in a shared note. Exact microscripts you can copy. Practice these aloud. Professional rejection, email, or interview. Thank you for the update. I appreciate your time. Could you share one brief point of feedback I could use? Romantic social decline. I'm disappointed, but I respect your decision. I'll take care of myself and won't press you for more. Creative, agent, or editor rejection. Thanks for considering my work. Could you point to one strength and one place I can improve? When shame hits in public. I'm feeling small right now. I'll step away for a minute. When you need reassurance but want to be steady. I'd like to share this with one friend. Can you listen for 5 minutes without advising? Each script is short, dignified, and forward-moving. Rehearse them until your voice knows the cadence. When you speak calmly, you change the physiology of the encounter and reduce the spectacle that feeds anxiety. A maintenance checklist for after the 30 days, 1 page. Morning witness, 1 to 3 minutes, 1 sentence. Why line read aloud, 10 to 15 seconds. One micro action daily, 10 minutes. Weekly partner drill, 5 to 10 minutes. Weekly log review, 10 minutes. Monthly integration session, 20 to 40 minutes. Repair kit practiced and ready, apology plus concrete follow-up action. Mirror map updated monthly. Practical notes on setbacks and social weather. Setbacks are data, not verdicts. When you relapse into old patterns, apply the rapid repair. Pause, own one sentence, recommit to one tiny corrective action immediately. Social weather will include testing. People who once fed your anxiety may push to restore the old dynamic. Hold the scaffold, short explanation once, practice line, then consistent behavior. Over time, the field adapts or reveals misalignment. Both outcomes save you confusion. A caution about meaning hunting. Avoid forcing grand narratives. Frankl survivors did not manufacture heroic meaning on demand. They found small, sustained reasons to continue. Your job is to gather small reasons, work you care about, one person who matters, a craft to tend, and let them accumulate. Big meaning often emerges from dozens of small faithful acts, not a single spiritual breakthrough. Small accountability moves that help. Share your 30-day pledge with one person and report weekly, 1 to 2 lines. Use a 2-week public experiment. I'm practicing small actions after setbacks, telling one friend each week what I learned. Publicity increases follow-through, but keep it small and dignified. Pair the practice with one external metric, e.g., number of exposures, number of micro-actions, number of logs. Small data converts feelings into facts. If you want a single micro-challenge to start tonight, set a timer for 10 minutes and draft a short version of your why line. Make it one sentence that fits on a sticky note. Put it on your mirror. Tomorrow morning, read it aloud before any messages. That tiny act primes your system to orient before it reacts. If this content is making sense to you, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. Finally, a closing reality check and a pledge invitation. Rejection anxiety is not a moral flaw. It's an adaptive alarm that learned to overreact. You won't eliminate the alarm, but you can train the response. The work is patient and accumulative. Choose one micro-action today, practice it, and review like a scientist. Over time, the evidence will shift your story from "I am defined by no's" to "I move forward despite them." If this video confronted you, made you think, touched a part of you that you usually avoid, then comment here. I choose to keep going.